everywhere you went on social media, there's this Theo Vaughn clip, and I haven't seen it all. I wanted to watch it in real time, but I've seen bits and pieces of it. It's unavoidable where Theo Vaughn is talking a little bit about God and where he's at in his life and where I think a lot of men are at in their life. And I just wanted to watch that with you guys and take a look and see. Now, I found the portion of the video, and I heard a little bit before of the caller that kind of, it seems like this call may have created this viral answer or statement that Theo Vaughn gets. So let's listen to the tail end of the conversation, the recording, and let's see what Theo Vaughn has to say.
You kind of wake up the next day feeling like shit, and you're like, I'm not even any closer to my goals. I'm not getting where I need to be. But then you just kind of fucking retreat, and then you do it all over again. And I know, I feel like maybe you once went through this, and I think a lot of guys go through this. And, I've shut off social media. I've tried to, I've gone through periods where I didn't drink for long periods of time. And I know you sometimes just always go back to this because then you're just like, what's the point? We're only, got one go around on this. Am I going to waste my youth? Am I going to waste my opportunities? But I'm no closer to my goals. And I think I lost my job last year, and I'm supposed to be studying and trying to get ahead for some stuff that's going to give me a better job. But a lot of time I just kind of let the days go by, and now I'm stuck here, by myself, sitting in my room after the weekend, kind of just fucking, I don't know, man, feeling down. And I don't even.
Dark. He's chasing everything. It sounds dark. Who hasn't been here before? It's every avenue of his life just empty. Even if it's fun, it's empty.
I don't know why, guy, And I just wanted to know how you deal with this, how you get yourself out of this, how you get to a better life, how do you get to a place where you're not just cycling through and you're actually moving toward things that you want. And I appreciate your advice. All right, Theo, thanks, man.
Thanks so much for the call. I don't think you said your name at the beginning, but thank you. Yeah, the cycle of just okay, I'm going to do this, and then I would kind of, for me, I'm going to try that. I would let myself down. I would try and I would ask God to help me, and I'd be like, I would pray, but I would just, and it was the same thing. And I appreciate you being so articulate in your call and doing your best to share as honestly as you could what was going on. I'll try to share. I've been struggling, man. The past couple years, I've had, it's been a struggle in certain ways with certain behaviors that I'm just not proud of, right? Or really just behaviors that I didn't want to do anymore. And I couldn't change it. I couldn't change the cycle. And even as I say this, I'm afraid that I'll fall back into those behaviors. But I'll tell you what for me has been helpful recently. And I'm sorry if I sound a little animated. I've been going through this in my own life recently, and it's on the tip of my thoughts and feelings. Sometimes I realized for myself, I would pray to God to help me get away from certain behaviors in my life. But at the same time that I was praying, there would be a part of me that knew I was probably going to do those things again.
Oh. Hey, okay. Can kind of see how this went viral. I bet there's some Christians out there. I know exactly what he's talking about. And I think the saddest part is on both sides of the fence. I know exactly what he's talking about. Unsaved and saved, backslidden and getting right back to it. And the only thing changes is this kind of stance. But this flip-flopping, this wish-washy. It'll eat you up because you're tossed to and fro in the sea. You don't have no direction. That's one thing that when I learned the true meaning of repentance is just aligning my mind with God every day and the struggle of that. It sounds like Theo Vaughn might know a little bit about that.
You know? That I was probably going to do those things again. Like, but God, please help me. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to have this behavior. But there'll be a little part of me that was like, I know even as I ask for God's help that I'm going to do it again. I would know that. So I started praying like this. I started praying like, God, please help me with this. You know, this is a broken part of me that I bring to you. I need help with it. And then I would add to my prayer, I would say, and even, God, even as I pray to you right now, there's a part of me that knows I'm probably lying to you. There's a part of me that knows I'm going to do that behavior again. So can you come into that part of me and help me there?
Wow. Bringing the broken parts and saying, Theo Vaughn is bringing the broken parts of him, realizing that he can't fix it, going to God saying, I'm a liar. I can't fix this on my own. I need you to fix it. I need you to help me. I can't do it. Jesus said, my yoke is easy, and to cast your burdens upon him. Yes, so cast your burdens upon the Lord. And that's what he's doing. That's on point. That's the way to do it.
Help me in the part of me that knows as I pray that I'm lying. And I don't know if that sounds crazy or not, but I started to think that like a connection between us and a higher power, it's such the realest. It's like in my life, it's one of the realest things that I've ever witnessed, right? Like you go in, like I'll be in meetings and or recovery meetings or and you see people's lives change. You see something happen. You see miracles, right?
Wow. That is just trying to grab my thoughts about this, or wrap my head around what Theo Vaughn's going through, and just thinking if he didn't, I think I know why this is going viral. He grabbed a snapshot of what every man, maybe woman, every person, every human is going through as whether they've, backslidden on their faith, whether they're in their faith, they're having a rough time, or they're on their road. God's working on their heart, and they're coming before God and just being open and honest and broken. And that's when God has always been able to do the most with you. It was the pride of the Pharisees that kind of gets in us as we become Christians, that makes it hard for God to move in our lives the way that we need him to move. It's the hating the sinners and not the sin. They say don't hate the game, don't hate the player. The game is the devil's game, and the player are the sinners. And a lot of times we'll get all mucked up and prideful, or although we are separate, we forget that we're this broken person, and what God could do with somebody who gave it all to them rather than the Christian that gets on fire for God and says, I can help. I'll help carry these burdens now. We're carrying them this way. We're carrying them that way. When we couldn't carry them in the beginning, and when we came to God, we left them at his altar broken and said, help us. All of those, how many altar calls, maybe someone who's done multiple altar calls when they're saying like, if you feel like this and you're like, man, I got to go up, because there's so much work that needs to be done, and that never stops. There's never not work that needs to be done, but this place of humility, I really feel, is where God is able to truly work with us.
But that was what was happening. I couldn't change. I tried everything. I tried everything to change. I would tell myself I'm going to do it different. I'm going to do that. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it by myself. And my whole life I'd done everything by myself. I thought I had. And so something that's just been helping me recently is just praying differently, because whatever's inside of me that's broken is really, it's manipulative, and it's, it would be good at pool because it's good at the angles. Mm-hmm. But so I've just been praying that God comes into those parts of me, Don't just come into like the water inside of me. Come into the well. Come into the walls of the well. Come into the mortar or whatever that's between the bricks. Because I'm broken. Because I'm broken all the way there. And I don't mean that like in self-pity. But if there's a part of me that doesn't even want the best for me, then there's something inside of me that is off. So that's something that's been helping me, because some of it's been coming true. And I don't know if it's been coming true. I don't know if that's a term, but I don't know. I'm starting to just feel something different. And
God's working on Theo Vaughn. Theo Vaughn, I started following when he had Kat Von D on his channel, I think a couple years ago, and I covered it where I heard Theo Vaughn start talking about God, and then I think him and Cat Williams had to talk about God. So it's been on his mind where he's talking about it, because he could do his podcast however he wants and he'd still be popular, but he's been open and, I want to say, vulnerable in his journey. Sort of public. You can tell there's a lot of private stuff going on, but sort of public, and kind of sharing with other men how he's asking God to come in every piece and part of his life. He doesn't want to, he wants it to be, he wants God to genuinely help him, change him. Those dark things that only you know, right? You're not in the public eye, and most people don't know about you, but those dark things that you're working on behind closed doors, when you walk out of church, when you close your Bible, when you go throughout your day, maybe how you interact, maybe things that you do, maybe the thoughts that are inside your head. There's a war in there as well. There's a war going on in there. You're able to keep it together outside, but inside there's a war. It weighs heavy on men. It does.
And then I was looking on this Bible.
Okay.
And there's a story called John 5, and it's about a guy who's at these pools. And some people follow the Bible, some people don't. That's fine. This is just a story.
No way. You wouldn't believe me. You wouldn't believe me. I was just flipping through, looking through stuff, and it's on John 5. That's wild. This is recorded. You wouldn't believe it. It's all good. It's not for you to believe, but I'm right here on. He said on John 5. I like how Theo Von talked. There was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now there is in Jerusalem by the sheep gate a pool, which is right here at the end of the page. Bethesda having 5 porches. Okay, let's hear what he has to say about it. That's just cool. That was a weird quit. That's just a quit. I mean, I know what it is. Let's go.
That I'm reciting here. And Jesus is at the.
I just want to say, I was going to say it's a weird coincidence, but I'm just not discounting stuff for anybody. Read into it how you want to read into it. That's all. I'm retiring from discounting it, from sugarcoating it, just in case I'm going to offend or whatever. If it's authentic and organic, you're going to hear it.
Is at the pools, and it's in Bethesda, and they're like, there's a sick man there, and he's been sick for a long time, and Jesus asks him, "Do you want to be healed?" He asks him, "Do you want to be healed?" And that's a crazy question because, if I get healed, then I'm different. If somebody gets healed, they have a new story. So that's just been something that I've been having to ask myself. It's like, do I want to be healed? Do I really want something different? And sometimes a lot of the answer is no, I don't. I want something different, but I don't want to. I don't know if I'm scared of it. I don't know what I am. I don't know if I don't want to do what it takes to get. I can't even tell what it is.
Interesting. I never even thought about that in this verse. If we went and looked at this verse real quick in John 5. Let's see here. Here it is. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he already had been in that condition a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to be made well?" The sick man answered, "I have no man to put me in the pool when the water is stirred, but I am coming. But while I am coming, another steps down before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your bed and walk." And immediately the man was made well, took up his bed, and walked. And Theo Vaughn's takes an interesting perspective because I've always heard people say, "Pray for me. I want to get better. Pray for me. I'm hoping for healing." I've never heard somebody say, "Do I want to be prayed? Am I ready for what comes with that?" And I think what Theo Vaughn means is he's not looking for he knows that it's being fixed, in a worldly sense, say, "Oh, thanks God for the healing," and then goes on with life. I think what Theo Vaughn is hinting at, just from what I'm feeling, is with that healing comes a change. He wants the whole thing. He wants it all. He wants that relationship with God. And what comes with that.
And it's hard for me. Some of this stuff's a little bit hard for me to say. I don't even know why, but I think I want a new story. My story in my life, and I'm sorry to make this about me, kind of, but I'm just trying to share. Like, when I was growing up, like, my mom, something was wrong with her. I love my mother, but she didn't connect with me. She didn't look at me. and she didn't, you know, she wouldn't hold me that much, and she wouldn't look me in the eyes, right? And so as a kid, I felt like something was wrong with me. You know, I felt like, oh, if the person that created me won't even look at me, then something must be so wrong with me.
Oh.
You know, and I've worked through a lot of this stuff, and so I'm kind of going down this lane. But it just gave me like a lot of low self-worth. You know, it just gave me low self-worth. And honestly, it made it tough for me to even have a self, because the only person that I only knew who I was if you reacted to me well, right? Like, I became just a people pleaser because I didn't have any feelings of self-worth. So the only way I could get my worth was from you, right? From somebody else. And it made sense because I didn't have a me. You know, I didn't have a big sense of self. And so I got myself from who you thought I was. And I needed everybody to like me. I needed everybody to like me because I didn't know if there was a one person that didn't like me, if one of the plates stopped spinning, if it was all going to fall down. So anyway, sorry, I'm kind of rambling, but the thing that also happened was that all of that energy, that negative energy, that uncertainty, that became my story, right? And it gave me like a chip on my shoulder where it was like, you know, I'm going to show them, I'll show these you know, I'll do this, and it gave me all of that. It gave me all of that energy. Like, I'll prove to them, I'll prove to somebody that I'm worth something. I'm going to make.
Man. That's like manhood 101 right there. Yeah. Not even proven to them to come back and show them, but just kind of anytime that you've been dismissed, you're thinking, you know, part of your identity is they say that now, but when I'm here, when I have accomplished this, when I've pushed through that, even though the dream might not even be about them, you make it about them as well, because you use it as fuel to drive your passions, to drive success. It's just a twisted way, rather than that person just, they're in the rearview mirror. That situation's in the rearview mirror. You carry it with you, some luggage. You use it as fuel to get that fire burning up big and bright. You can, you know, dance around it, get motivated about it. It helps push you forward.
Yeah. I just want to look in somebody's eyes and have them be pleased with me. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. I think it's all that any kid wants. I wanted to just look in somebody's eyes and have them be pleased with me. And all that gave me a chip on my shoulder, you know? And so anyway, so it gave me all this energy. It was like, you know, I'm going to figure this out. I'll do it myself. You know, and all that stuff served me well until, I think just until now, it's like, I don't know. I'm just tired of living that story, man. I'm tired of that story. You know, I'm tired of that story. I just don't want that story anymore. You know, it's been a good story and it's served me well. Dang, homie, I'm leaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a good story and it served me well, but I don't want that story anymore. You know, I want something different. Because the more I just tell that story, it's just like, you know, I stay in that world. I stay in that cycle for me. And I think so I want to have and it's scary to say that I want to have a new story because I'm so used to like how those other feelings work. I know who to be angry at. I know how to operate here and I know how to operate there and I know who to not give love to. And you know.
Wow. That old man, that old story and that new story. And here's one thing, he's tired, he's ready for a new story. And it's never too late for a new story, especially in Jesus Christ. And I could tell you, somebody who, you know, tried to hold on to both stories, is you never regret letting go of the old story, but you always regret holding on to the old story for too long, because you put so much investment in it. Like he said, he's talking about protocol. He knows how to act accordingly, the politics, the rhythm, the pulse. He could jump in, double dutch, that whole lifestyle. But when you come to God and he gives you that new story, that old story is gone. It's out the window. It's just, it's wasted time. And not to be sad about that, but to maybe, if you're thinking about that new story that God's ready to create for you, that maybe you realize how silly the old story is, because it's not going to be in the highlights in heaven. It's not going to be what the mission was for. It's just the point until, there's stuff in there. There's beautiful things that happen. That's life lived. But when you're ready for that new story in Jesus Christ, and it's you and him, that old story just seems like a waste of time. And that's what these guys are talking about. It's all a waste of time. It's all vanity. It just, I think that this is why it's gone viral. I can tell you right now, though, if you are on the fence, and you've been on the fence for a while, and not like, I'm talking to those that know the truth. I'm not talking about you're on the fence, you're trying to see if God's real. I'm saying you're on the fence and you know that you know. And I've been 10 toes down with friends that are, 100% the embodiment of everything they say. And in certain circles, that's great. And I always wonder in the back of my mind, why isn't it what would it be like if they did that for God? And I'm not judging them, saying they're not doing it, but I know what it looks like to do it the other way. I've seen them 100, 100%, 10 toes down, all about it, 100% qualified. And I've just not seen it the other way. And maybe so when I look at myself as well, maybe there's a reflection like this, but in Christianity as well, where maybe we're ready for the new positioning in Jesus Christ. And I think that's a little bit of what I've been talking about in my unreleased podcast, that I had to get the marbles out of my mouth because I didn't do a show, and I didn't do a podcast in a couple of months because I was finishing up my schooling. Was, what am I doing following Jesus? I don't, maybe you are a Christian and you've been wearing that Christian uniform, but you haven't been walking the embodiment of what it takes to be that. And maybe you've lost sight of that, to see what it's really like to live this life with Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. And I'm telling you right now, that old story is not worth it. It's just a waste of time. And you just don't want to carry that around. Just that agonization is better just to, if you're going to pick a side, you pick a side. But why would you pick the other side? You're never going to regret following God. You will regret not following God or not following him soon enough. And God will get you right. But that's no reason to be like, tomorrow then. I wonder, I could only imagine what God is doing. I mean, look at Theo Vaughn right now. I mean, just to be this open publicly, to be thinking about it, God's working on his heart.
I know how to make like love, like very conditional. I know how to like do all of these. I know how to navigate to get this fucked up vehicle down the street. You know? But I think I want a new story, dude. And it's crazy for me to even say that. But yeah, I think I want a new story. And so that's one thing that I'm asking God for. Yeah, I'm asking God for a new story, right? I'm asking God for the next part of me. You know, and being okay with saying you know, like these days, you know, my mother and I have a great relationship, and I love my mother. There's nothing I want more than my mother to be happy, you know? And it's funny because as she gets older, she kind of turns in a little bit more like a child sometimes. And you kind of like the roles kind of like, I guess they switch a little bit, and you get to be, you get to try to be what you needed in a way. And it's pretty cool. And that's a gift. That's a gift from God, I think. And so, yeah, I want to be able to, I just want to be able to, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm telling you, dude. Jesus Christ. Is this guy's got to be like, God, why'd I call this idiot?
Nah, you're doing, I think that's why you went viral. 100% transparent. We don't have a lot of that. You don't see a lot of that nowadays. You don't see it in the church. You don't see it outside of the church. I mean, you don't see somebody who's willing to be vulnerable. This is a very vulnerable moment. It's refreshing.
Yeah, so I think, anyway, that's what's been helping me. Like, and I never thought I would be saying some of this stuff, but I'm glad that I am, because I'm ready for a new story. I'm ready for a new story. And I'm ready for like, yeah, and the scary part is who will I be if I let go of these things that I've always done and known, some of these behaviors, if I even can let go of some of them. And
woo! Oh man, he's still cooking. Who will I be if I let go of some of these behaviors, if I let go of these things? How many of y'all are thinking just like that right now? Just who am I going to be if I let go? If I don't make music like this anymore, if I can't talk to my friends like this, if I can't be in on this, if I change my life this way, if I have to remove myself from certain relationships, if I got to conduct business accordingly, I got a Bible verse I just went over. It hasn't been released yet, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. So like, if you turn all of that in, your talk, your walk, your thoughts, your curiosity, all of that.
And I know I'm not going to get anything right or whatever. There's no like, it's just like, I don't know, man. I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm kind of tired.
Yeah.
What can I suggest, do you think, Trevin, or offer some thought? Do you have any thought about any of this?
I think it's really hard, and I think praying is a great first step if you don't know where to go or how to break a cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. I just started, like, that's something that's helped me, is I just started praying, but I started praying like as honestly as I could. And and even honest past that. Like, God, you know, these behaviors I don't like of mine, will you help me? Even though I know that I might do them again, even though I know I want to do them again, will you come into the parts of me that want to do these behaviors again and help me there? Will you come, will you come all the way to will you come to like past the roots? And yeah, and it's just like, I don't know. And it's crazy to think that I could have I don't know.
Yeah. Brand new. You're right there.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of it's scary to me, and some of this isn't making sense. And I'm sorry, man. I think I'm just getting kind of burnt out. It's been I don't know what it's been. But I'm glad that you care about what's going on. And yeah, to get out of the cycle, man, it's hard. And to show up for myself, other things that I've been doing is I've been getting up early. I've been doing some yoga. I've been doing a workout at home. I went and played basketball the other day with some friends. I hadn't done that in years, man. And you know what? I felt good. I left out of there. I went to an AA meeting and I started, I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I started getting active, you know? And I started coming to my own rescue a little bit. But I started just showing up for myself. And if I told somebody I'm going to do something, then I came and did it. And I've never done that a lot in my life, but for the past few weeks, I've been doing it. And when I say something and then I do it, there's a part of me that hears that, right? And there's a part of me that starts to have like okay, this guy he's somebody who says he's going to do something and he does it. And so that then part of me starts to build up that it's like I'm building somebody new, man.
That's good. That's good. He's building great habits, and we'll stop right there for the evening. I guess we'll say this went a little bit longer than I thought. I thought I was going to be giving you, a couple of minute talks, and this was going to be maybe like a 5-minute conversation where Theo Vaughn went on, but it looks like it went from 42 to, so it looks 45. So that's about 15 minutes right there. I don't even know how I got to 40 minutes. I don't know. What was I talking about? Thought I kept it short too. Okay. I see why this one went viral, right? And I'm sure everybody has their comments on them. And let's look at John 5. Let's just go there. Let's see what John 5 is talking about. He said this is where he was at. He was reading it. A sick man goes to get healed. They're healing him on the Sabbath. You search the scriptures. Here we go. Let's close on this. You search the scriptures. This is in John 5:40. You search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life. You search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and these are they which testify of me. But you are not willing to come to me that you may have life. I do not receive honor from men, but I know you, that you do not have the love of God in you. I have come in my Father's name, and you did not receive me. If another comes in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe who receive honor from one another? Us in the world getting honor from one another, or we honor the businessman in the room. We have no idea how he lives his life. We just know that we like that he has money and owns his company, or the people that I see that have the massive followings where men get their manly advice from. You honor. How can you believe? How can you believe who receive honor from one another and do not seek the honor that comes from only God? Right? People won't change their you'll hear me talk a lot about the background I came from. People won't change their music, their lyrics that they make because they want to receive that honor. But they don't seek the honor that comes from only God. Do not think that I shall accuse you to the Father. There is one who accuses you, Moses, in whom you trust. For if you believe Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote about me. But if you do not believe his writings, how will you believe my words? And he's talking to the Pharisees right there, saying, I do not receive honor from men, and he receives honor from God. And he was saying, you guys are looking for life. You think you have eternal life in these scriptures, and these scriptures testify of me, but you're not willing to come to me so I can give you the life. Give God the life. GFC fam, have a good night.